Welcome to Monday Night Comics. Welcome to Comics with Dan. Sorry, I'm a little late here, but glad to be back. Pretty good week for comics this week. I got a decent amount of reading done. Not anything too crazy, but there is also, it seems to me at least, a lot of different exciting things that are going to be coming out. A lot of like the DC Next Level stuff. And I mean, at this point in the year, with it being April, we should start seeing a lot of the like summer books coming out on the solicits and the final order cutoff for those books coming up. So it's always cool to be around this time of year and looking at the solicits and final order cutoff lists and seeing, what you're going to add to your pull list. It's also rather challenging from a budget perspective to not just add everything that looks cool to your pull list, which is something I'm still working on. So let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to look at is if you watched last week, I had a list of the top 10 pulled comics for this week. Okay. And so it's all based on what's in League of Comic Geeks, but either way, I think let's see, I'll always have you do side by side. It's all based on what's on League of Comic Geeks, which I know isn't the exact definitive listing of what the most pulled books are, but that's okay because I think it's gives you a general idea as to like what's popular and what's going on. So starting at number 10, we have Spawn 374, which is cool that we've got a run going this long. It's a really cool looking cover, for sure. I mean, Todd McFarlane's writing it again. I don't know if anyone else has ever written something or if anyone else has ever written written Spawn other than McFarlane. Have they? You'll have to let me know if that's the case. What's interesting though is I'm a little surprised to see this here. It doesn't seem like it's a new run. But it doesn't seem like it's a new run or a new arc or anything. But I feel like I haven't seen Spawn in the top 10 pulls in a while. So, but I think I'll probably eventually get around to checking out Spawn. I've read a single issue of it. But it may be worth checking out at some point. Okay. Coming in at number 9, we have Wolverine, number 18. I do like that cover a lot. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but it's very cool looking. And who do we have on the cover art for that? Oh, Dan Panosian. Yeah, his covers are really good. He's done a bunch of really great work. I read the first volume of Saladin Ahmed's Wolverine, and I liked it, but I think that my issue with it was that it seemed to be going in a direction with it's called a Wendigo. Basically like this cryptid, right? And I think it would be really cool to have a book that has Wolverine kind of following along with these monsters and these legends, right? And looking at it that way. But I feel like they haven't really leaned into that angle very much. I can't remember what the guy's name is. Let's see if he's going to be on here. No. but I don't think that I don't know if I'll keep up with that. I actually even have the second volume for this from the library, but I think I might need to return it soon, and I don't have any more renewals on it, so it might not get read, unfortunately. But also, I'm not like overly disappointed about it. So, coming in at number 8, we have Iron Man number 4. And I don't even know who's doing this run. Oh, Josh Williams is doing this run. I might actually need to pick this up then. I mean, how does he have the time to do all this stuff? I mean, he's doing so much over at DC, and he's doing GI Joe, and apparently he's doing Iron Man. But I mean, he's been like firing on all cylinders. So for me, I feel like this is a pretty safe bet for me because I've been really enjoying his work. I don't know these artists. Joe Caramagna. Let me look at the solicit here. So we've got Tony Stark disassembled. The Golden Avenger is trapped in a puzzle of his own design, forced to test his skills and knowledge, not as Iron Man, but as Tony Stark. Can Tony embrace his role as the most dangerous weapon in the Marvel Universe to escape? What new technology will he create to defeat Madame Mask's maze? Seems like it could be okay. Not too bad. But so that's coming in at number 8. And actually, what was the number of pulls on that one? So about 7,900, right? And so again, like the League of Comic Geek pulls are not showing the full picture, right? But I feel like there are enough users and enough people that use this as their pull list that this gives you a general idea of the kind of the popularity, right? And then you can compare that. So like 7,900 on Iron Man versus 6,500 in for Spawn. So it shows you that kind of jump from 10 to 8. And then moving in at number 7, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 17. It's kind of crazy that we're this far into that run already. I like that cover a lot. It's a Mark Spears cover, but it looks like the old 90s movies. I know that there are people that are somewhat critical of Mark Spears' style, and like I can understand because it's certainly like an acquired taste, but I think this is perfect for it. This is such a great cover. And so like 8,300 on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't recognize who that is. Shinigami seems like that might be it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Oh wow. He wrote Superman. What's it called? Superman Smashes the Klan. That's it. That's awesome. Gene Luen Yang. But yeah, no, I mean he's a good writer. I think I've read a little bit of his new Superman. So that's pretty interesting. All right, so that was number 7. Coming in at number 6 is, and this is sort of a last minute thing too. When I put this together at first a few days ago, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was above Something Is Killing the Children, but in this case, and look, it's only got 300 more on here. We got Something Is Killing the Children number 46, and so if I recall, go back to 45. So we haven't had one since December. Now, I mean, it's a really popular book, and I've read a good bit of it, and it deserves the praise that it gets for sure. And we've got some nice covers here. Jenny Frizen's been doing a bunch of covers for. Oh man, this is a Somnath Paul variant cover. He's a friend of the show, and that's wild stuff. That's so awesome. I'm gonna have to shoot him I didn't know he was doing this cover. I'm gonna shoot him a message and tell him how great it looks. That's awesome. Yeah, he did Crocodile Black a while back, last year, I believe, and it's incredible stuff. So no, that's really exciting that he's doing that. Mike Huddleston, Aaron Campbell. It always has some really good variant covers. So, all right. And then we're getting into our top 5. Number 5, Uncanny X number 26. And which one? I always forget. Okay, so I did like the first volume of Uncanny X-Men. I think Gail Simone's a pretty good writer. The one thing I actually have of hers I haven't read, ironically enough, is Birds of Prey, which is like, from my understanding, her like claim to fame, right? I read a little bit of her Action Comics. I read, I feel like there was something else of hers that I read too, and I can't think of what it is. But then there's this, and I like the Rouge centric kind of story, and where she's like almost like the mother figure of all these new mutants. So that is pretty cool. We got some nice covers here too. Marvel Rivals, Rouge, and then we've got all these Ultimate Farewell variants where all these regular books are getting Ultimate Universe variant covers. So it's interesting. All right. So that was number 5. And what was the count there? 12,300. And that's pretty interesting to see the large gap, because 12,300 on Uncanny X-Men versus like 8,300 on Something Is Killing the Children. So that's quite a bit. Coming at number 4 is Action Comics, 12,900. We've got some nice, and then DC has all these Things to Come variants. And it has to do, I think it has to do with the fact that like all these people saw these things, like saw parts of their future after DCKO. But now what am wondering about this though is that I'm pretty sure I saw in the latest Superman issue that Booster Gold was going on like a search and rescue for Clark. And I'm kind of wondering if this is going to lay into that. So the heroes of tomorrow have arrived in the past, and they need Superboy's help. But what can a young Clark Kent do that they can't? Find out as Smallville is turned upside down and the reign of the Superboys continues. I am wondering if this is going to be, if they're going to be like asking a young Clark Kent to help them find Superman, because that's like the whole thing in the DC universe right now is nobody knows where he is. He disappeared after DCKO. So this might be, and I've read a couple of the other Reign of the Superboys items. They don't seem to actually connect. I'm kind of wondering if the Reign of the Superboys moniker has kind of just there to get people to buy books they wouldn't normally. which it worked on me. But this one I might pick up, not just because it has that, but because of the booster gold. And then honestly, like I really like Martian Manhunter and Mary Marvel, and I think that would be great. So yeah, we'll see. I might pick that one up. All right. And then coming in at number 3, we have The Amazing Spider-Man number 26. We have I guess these issues are called Death Spiral. It's I guess a Spider-Man event. I really haven't been keeping up, but what are we at here? We're at Legacy. I can't see what that says. All right, we're gonna Legacy 990. Wow. Oh, that says it right there in the description too. Legacy 990. So we have, and I believe that it's double shipping. So we have issue 1000 coming up sooner rather than later. So I'll probably get issue 1000 just because it's like a big deal. But I have no idea. Obviously, it's kind of old news that Mary Jane was this all new Venom. I haven't really heard much about this run. But hey, I haven't really heard much about it, but it's interesting because I would hear about Zeb Wells's run like all the time, right? But usually people just hating on it and then people defending it. So I guess is this like a no news is good news type of thing where the fact that nobody's talking about Amazing Spider-Man means that it's doing well? I don't know if that's the case. But I do like Ed McGuinness. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I'll be picking that one up. But I will be looking forward to issue 1000 just because it seems like it'll be an exciting thing to pick up. Coming in at number 2 with 14,750 pulls. The Secret of Megatron Revealed, Transformers number 31. I think that we're one issue removed from a lot of the Autobots leaving Earth, which I am in favor of because, as I've said multiple times, I feel like it's rather confusing to have all of these. I feel like it's rather confusing to have all of these different Transformers, and I don't know like most of them, right? Like it feels like every other issue we have someone pop up on the page and it's supposed to be this big reveal like, oh, look who's here. And like I'm sure for really long time fans that's very exciting, but for someone that has very limited experience, it's just not that exciting. And when I say limited experience, I mean I've read this run of Transformers since issue number 1, right? So I'm not saying like I pick up random issues. I've watched like the old cartoon several times. And like not just to be clear, I don't think that this makes me qualified, but I have seen the Michael Bay movies, or at least a couple of them. I know it's not the same thing, so believe me, I'm not touting that as part of my credibility, but this does seem interesting. And again, it says, and no one in the Energon universe is safe, which again, that just reeks of the a change in the status quo or whatever, all those buzzwords they use in solicits that get people to pick books up. That's what that sounds like to me, which is fine, right? Like I'll I'll be lied to occasionally for the good of the book. We got a Simon Parr variant. That's kind of cool. That's a great cover. I do kind of like the more old school kind of look that Megatron has in this series. I think a lot of times his head gets changed because it, like, to be honest, does look a little kind of goofy. Um, what I'm interested, and I don't know how like the Transformers lore works with this, but like we just saw like Elita's like physical appearance change when she became Elita Prime, and then Optimus Prime his changed, and he looks a little different now that he's just Optimus. But I'm wondering like what would Megatron look like if he was Megatron Prime? And let me know if there's source material to back that up, or if it's like not possible given the fact that he's a Decepticon and maybe the Prime can only be an Autobot. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not deep into the Transformer side of things, but it makes me wonder kind of what it would look like. Gotham City Limit. Wonder why that's called that. I'm wondering if that's like a specific shop. But I do like that, him sitting on the chair there. That's a nice cover. Yeah, Transformers 31 coming in at number 2 most pulled this week is pretty impressive. The fact that it's an Amazing Spider-Man week, and yet Transformers is outselling, or at least by this metric, outselling Amazing Spider-Man and outselling Uncanny X-Men and Action Comics even, right? I mean, it's beaten out a lot of books. So, and then finally, and this is kind of at the same time surprising but not surprising, Absolute Green Lantern number 3 comes in at number 1, 21,000 pulls. That's wild to me because like Transformers was number 2 and it was at 14,000 pulls, right? And this one's like you could split this into 2 books and it would still be number 1, and the second one would be in the top 10, right? Like, I mean, you could pull like 7,000 pulls away from this and apply it to another book, and that book would be in the top 10. I mean, who do we have in the cover on this? Janoy Lindsay. I'm not familiar, but I do like that cover a lot. I don't know anything. I don't know much about the Absolute Green Lantern. It's surprising to me because I wouldn't have pegged a Green Lantern book to beat like Amazing Spider-Man, or even in this case Transformers. But at the same time, I'm not at all surprised because I'm pretty sure that every week that there's an Absolute book coming out, that the top of the list, which just goes to show you the power that is DC. I don't know. And that's the other thing. It does say something about Tomar Ray, but I don't see any other covers with him on it. I also don't see. Oh, there he is. Red Lantern Tomar Ray. That's interesting. Sinestro is a Gold Lantern. I knew that Joe Mullen was Moline was the Green Lantern in this. I need to see if I can get like the first volume of this, because I am interested in checking it out. I just haven't really had a chance. So those are the top 10. And yeah, so we had Green Lantern, Absolute Green Lantern, Transformers, Amazing Spider-Man, Action Comics, Uncanny X-Men. I'm only pulling one of these. Transformers is the only one I'm pulling. Something is Killing the Children 46, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 17, Iron Man 4, Wolverine 18, and Spawn 374. So, yeah, I mean, I think that on this list, I'll almost definitely grab Action Comics. But other than that, the only other one I would think about is possibly Iron Man. But honestly, I'll probably get the trade on that so that I can kind of start at the beginning. But all right, so now we have books that I read this week, books that I have coming in my pull list next week or this week, and anything that's on final order cutoff either tonight or next week. And I think I might have actually put a couple in there that are for the following week, just to kind of expand things a bit. First up is Justice League Unlimited number 17. So I really liked, what did I end up rating this? 4.5. That's fair. I really liked the direction that this took. It follows immediately after the DC KO event, and the general idea behind it is, while the heroes locked like the villains in the Phantom Zone, which is interesting that this is what's coming back to. This has come back to kind of bite them in multiple ways, right? Like, so them locking the villains in the Phantom Zone, Lex Luthor broke out and won the tournament. But there were several villains that didn't escape, right? And it's kind of brought to the Justice League's attention, like, hey, you locked them up, and didn't you stop to think that like they would have wanted an opportunity to help defend their defend Earth as well? And like, on one hand, I get that, but like, I feel like the answers are pretty resounding. Like, yeah, we thought about it, but no, you can't do that. That was the whole idea, is that they locked up these villains because they knew that they would be too good at this Omega tournament, where you're rewarded for being ruthless, and the more like Darkseid you are, the more successful you'll be in the tournament. So it was very calculated. The Justice League's kind of acting surprised, like, oh, like, we didn't think of that. And so the idea, I mean, the title of the arc is called Amnesty. The end of this issue basically says like, Wonder Woman and, against Batman's better judgment, have decided to grant, well, they're asking Captain Marvel if they should grant these villains like full unconditional amnesty. And first of all, I think it's a supremely bad idea, just like Batman thinks. And it's going to be horrible, right? It's going to end so poorly. Now, do I think that Mark Waid's going to try to make this a commentary on like prisons and rehabilitation? Possibly. And like, not to get overtly political outside of the comic space, but like, is there that, like, there's definitely need for some kind of prison reform, given the fact that it's gone so far away from actually rehabilitating people. But I mean, that's a conversation for another time. But I don't think you can liken the two to each other. Like, these are supervillains that have, a lot of them have like murdered like hundreds, thousands, maybe even millions for some of them, people. And that's different than providing like career petty thieves, more opportunities to make more for their lives, right? So here's what I hope. I would rather see this go extremely poorly when they try to let all these people out, but that there are a handful of folks that are redeemed and can make better for themselves. But overall, I want it to be a disaster. I would not like to see all these villains. I mean, these are superhero comics, right? Like we don't need all the villains reformed, right? We just got done with Lex Luthor being a good guy for like a year or two. And furthermore, I really need them to address the fact that Lex Luthor won the Omega tournament and then Superman swooped in and just claimed being King Omega, like, even though he didn't win. Like, to me, that's just such a textbook thing for Lex Luthor to be upset about. Like, the Lex Luthor that I know would be absolutely losing his mind that this alien who hasn't earned anything, all his powers are given to him, right? He is all of a sudden becomes the King Omega from this tournament that Lex Luthor won, playing by the way that the tournament said that he would get ahead, right? And Superman, who did not, Superman very specifically went against what the competition wanted, right? Or what the Heart of Apocalypse wanted. And yet he still reaped the benefits. So I very much so want them to address that, because for them to just brush it off like Lex Luthor being like, oh, well, I won, but oh well, or not even talking about it at all, to me, that just seems crazy, right? Like, he, in all senses, has to be just livid. So, but I did like this a lot. I like where this is going. I do. Let me see. Oh, and then that reminds me is that I don't think Dan Moore is not on this arc. Clayton Henry is. Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. But Daredevil #1. So on Daredevil #1, we have Stephanie Phillips, Lee Garbett, Frank Martin, Ariana Mayer. I thought this was pretty good. I think the Marvel relaunches are getting a little old. I think it's a bummer that the last Daredevil series, like, I mean, how many issues did it last? It wasn't very many. It was a lot less than Chip Zdarsky's run, and even Zdarsky's run was shorter than a lot of the other ones, even though his ended up getting split in two, right? But either way, not to take away from the team here, this was really good. It was, I mean, like almost pure setup, which is fine. It's an issue #1. We don't need. It's Daredevil. You don't need to be reintroduced to the character, right? But he feels very, very kind of isolated here, right? Like, there's no Foggy. There's, like, obviously there's no Karen Page, and hasn't been for a while. As much as I love when Spider-Man shows up in Daredevil comics, no Spider-Man. But the dialogue that Stephanie Phillips, that she puts on in place for Matt Murdock is really good. I enjoy it a lot. I can almost like picture Charlie Cox saying it, like over top of the images for the comics. So, like, to me, this is in a really good starting spot. Plus, there's a new villain. I believe it's a new villain called Omen. I believe that's. Yep, one appearance. And very cool costume design. And the one thing I really like about the villain here is that Omen's voice, the way that Matt Murdock describes it, is that like it's a different sounding voice with like every word. Like it could be like a growl or a screech. And to me, like Daredevil's radar abilities, his hearing is best served when he's able to identify patterns and use that to kind of help him figure out things around him. And with a voice like that, that's got to make it harder, right? And so this character almost seems like they're designed to go against everything that makes Daredevil formidable, right? Because on top of that, like towards the end of this issue, like they, hand-to-hand combat, Omen's reflexes are incredible, and like they take Daredevil out like it's nothing, right? Which is always, I think, it's a bit of a trope, right? To have a villain handily defeat the hero early on, and then we'll see Matt Murdock go through his crisis, whatever it is, and then he'll come back and he'll beat Omen and whatever, right? But it's a good trope it's a trope that people use frequently for a reason, and it's because it's a story that works well. And also there's a lot of leeway, or not leeway, but there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of opportunity to mold that basic plot line into something new and interesting. I really like this. This was really good. If you're on the fence about it, just pick it up. I will say I really, really hate the Marvel #1 tax. I mean, $6 for this book was tough on the wallet. But I mean, and the other thing is that after this, it's $4.99. To be honest, Daredevil should really be like a $3.99 book. The fact that if we look at Justice League, $3.99 still, right? Which that's DC's, like, that's their team, right? That's their big book. Oh, I went back too far. But then you look at like World's Finest, okay? Like their big 50th issue is $4.99, right? We go to 51, back to $3.99, right? And it doesn't seem like a lot, right? But when you're selling comics for $6, a dollar makes a lot of difference in a comic budget, because when if I'm buying, I can buy 5 or 4 comics at $5 a piece, or I can buy 5 at $4 a piece for the same thing, right? It's an extra book. It's an extra creative team that's getting support, right? The prices, the lower prices, are better for the industry too, because it keeps people trying out more things. I'm more likely, like if all my books end up being $5 or $6, like I have to cut things down, right? Blood and Thunder, $3.99, right? I mean, Batman. Okay, so Batman's $4.99. They keep that one higher, right? But like it's all that keeping the prices low is going to do is get people to buy more books, right? I mean, seems like pretty straightforward strategy to me, but I don't know. Okay. Bizarro Year None. Okay, the only reason I even got this, right, is because of this cover, right? Totally Normal Al Yankovic. I love it. It's great. That being said, this was awesome. Okay. We're going to take a look here at the artist, Nick Pitara. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so he did the Manhattan projects and he did this Bebop and Rocksteady. It looks like he did some stuff with Shield. He's got a lot of stuff here. I wonder if he was the interior art. Oh no, cover B and cover E. I don't know if there's a way to filter. Let's see if we can filter on. Let's say roll. Let's see if I can uncheck cover artist. Okay, sweet. So, okay, so that's kind of weird because he's just on the two omnibuses, but like I don't see like a lot of things where he was on multiple issues. Look at King Thor. Was he the artist on issue number 4 for the whole thing? No, it looks like there was a handful of artists. Okay. But either way, right? I was hoping. And so the fact that he is like moderately new to the game, still kind of making his mark, he very clearly, at least it seems to me, right? It seems to me like he is very inspired by Frank Quietly and Martin Morazzo, right, from Ice Cream Man. So let me see if there's some preview. Yeah, preview images. Okay. Let me zoom out a bit here. I'll zoom back in. There we go. Okay. Okay, and there's Bizarro. All right, but this doesn't give a good. There we go. Okay. I love this art style. Most of this book is like a Daily Planet book, right? And I would absolutely read like a comedy comic about just the Daily Planet, right? And that's what this, like, a lot of this book is. It doesn't get into the Bizarro stuff until towards the end. But this is the art that we're talking about here. And I am a really big fan of like the detailed line work. You can see like there's no like hazy gradient backgrounds here. Like every single detail in these couple preview pages, and this whole book really is drawn intricately and like with purpose, right? Really incredible stuff. And I wasn't expecting to be that excited about the art here. But then on top of that, so the writer's Kevin Smith, the famous movie director, and Silent Bob. But he did a great job on this as well. I think, again, I wasn't planning on pulling all these. I was just going to do the Weird Al cover or Totally Normal Al cover. But I think I might have been convinced to pick this up. We'll have to see what the rest of my pull list is looking like, because it's going to be getting a bit challenging to keep all these books on my pull list. So I'm gonna need to keep them cut down. We have Batman number 8. So I did like this. Um, I do like the idea of Poison Ivy being mayor and Vandal Savage being police commissioner. The big hook on this is that at the end, there's essentially a war on Batman proclaimed, and the idea is that like Vandal Savage and Poison Ivy, or Vandal Savage is trying to convince Poison Ivy to back this by kind of saying, "Oh well, like let's try to beat them like using their own rules, right?" And he's saying us beat them, as in, I mean, Vandal Savage is this like immortal guy, and Poison Ivy's connected to the green, so like her uh, lifespan isn't exactly linear, so to speak. So they have, um, I guess I would say, similar outlooks, right? And so just these normal, like, well, let's go through the bounds of the law to take Batman out. And I mean, it's somewhat interesting, but I feel like the Batman being run after by the cops is a bit like old hat. I don't know that it's necessarily, I mean, it's definitely something that's been done before, for sure. Um, but I do kind of like the idea of going back to that standard where Batman is a vigilante, like he is, right? And so, like, we're back in the blue costume. We're back to him being a real vigilante. So I'm interested to see where it goes. I would definitely be okay with like Jim Gordon coming back as the police commissioner much later on in the run, and having to kind of like fight that fight the with Gotham City to get Batman or get them back to wanting Batman around. But this was, I mean, it was pretty good. It wasn't anything spectacular, but I do like how Matt Fraction writes. I think he's just a really good writer, and so even a an okay story comes out really well whenever he's writing it. And then Ryan Sook, he's the guest artist here, and like let me just like that's some good stuff. I also what I did really like um about this issue, we have Alan Scott Green Lantern on it on the cover. He does show up in the book. It plays an important part, because Batman goes to him for advice, right? And it's cool to see Batman look at these older heroes and care about their opinion and things like that. So that was definitely a cool piece there. Um, World's Finest. So I read this right before the stream. We're gonna give it 4.5 out of 5. Because Dan Mora is back. His artwork was as good as ever. I I would say, first of all, I'm realizing now that Batmite and Mr. Mixpitzlick are on the front here, but are no, they're nowhere to be found in the book, which is interesting because I kind of would have thought that we would have seen them come back. I did think that there would be a little more like homage to the series so far. I don't feel like there has been. In reality, the first story was simply a a Dan Mora showcase, right? And that's okay because that's kind of what people wanted for this, I think. Um, and it was really good. I mean, the story itself was just kind of Batman and Superman navigating the Dreamstone and trying to get who was it? It wasn't Insomnia, was it? Because that was like the guy, Doctor Destiny. That's it. Um, Doctor Destiny. I mean, there was a little bit of throwback, so you can see like a vision of Boy Thunder, a vision of the Devil Neza, a vision of Bat Zaro, and Kingdom Come Batman. Uh, I mean, like those were there, but and Metamorpho, the Doom Patrol. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe now that I think about it, there was a little bit more flashback than I thought there would be, and letting Dan Mora draw all those characters again was a good time. But then, truthfully, the second story where Robin and Jimmy Olsen team up against Batgirl and Supergirl to find like this lost Egyptian artifact. It was pretty funny. It was a good one. I would have liked to see like the pets in there somewhere. I think that would have been fun. And obviously like Batmite and Mixpitslick. I think that the fact that we got all of these characters, and it says Batmite was in there, but I didn't see him. Um, I think that I don't know. I think that the fifth dimensional imps could have played a little bit of a bigger role, but um, but it was good. It was good. I was hoping to see some really great Dan Mora art with Tamara Bonville and coloring, and that's what I got. And then Adrian Gutierrez on the second story was just he was great. I mean, I think it's got to be hard to follow. It's got to be hard to follow Dan Mora, and yet he's managed to do it. The book is still done well enough that we've gotten to 50 issues and then some. So definitely an exciting one. All right. And I have not enough time to go through all of these, but we'll make it moderately quick because those are the ones. So Blood and Thunder number 12. So these are my upcoming pulls, right? Blood and Thunder number 12. All right, we'll circle back on, to use my corporate terminology. Thank you very much. We will circle back on the Fury of Firestorm because that is the title of this stream. The Muppets Noir number 2, which I do hope shows up because it has been delayed, I think, several times. And so I do really want to get that book. Space Ghost number 10. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can put a video out ahead of Wednesday to review that. I got a review copy from David Pepos, so thanks, David. I'm going to try to check it out and do a video before Wednesday. Transformers 31 we talked about. It's Megatron centric issue, right? And it's obviously a very popular book this week. I am excited for that. I think of these, though, I'm most excited for the Fury of Firestorm. First of all, like, I mean, even just looking at the preview, right? Like you look at the solicit and it is like they're questioning like what he did, like he did something bad, right? And so for Jesse, third town, the new experiment. He wanted to know what it'd be like to live in a world of glass and chalk, so he made one. And so everyone got mad at him, and he said, demanding the nuclear man put things back to normal. But the nuclear man did not subscribe to their idea of normal. Their lives were a mere illusion. He would teach these people the only thing truly normal was change. So on the fourth day, the nuclear man transformed not only their world, but them as well. And so like the biblical references here are interesting. It's just such a I'm not going to go any further. But the preview looks amazing. I mean, I think, but what exactly provoked Ronnie Raymond to commit this heinous act, and can anyone contain the fury that is Firestorm? I hope, because this is part of that next level line, I hope that this like actually plays a big part in upcoming DC books. I think that would be so cool. So like Jeff Lemire, Rafael de Latorre, I mean, they're both like their work speaks for them, right? Marcelo Maiolo, I'm not familiar. Lucas Gattoni is a great letterer. He I'm trying to think about what I know his work from. It could just be a number of things, really. Um, but I do know that he's there with that name. So, um, the De La Torre art. Oh, a Jeff Lemire variant. That's awesome. Because he does. I mean, if you're not familiar with Jeff Lemire's work, he does a lot of his creator-owned stuff. He does the art and the writing. So, a Riley Rossmo variant. I feel like we haven't seen Riley. Okay, and so like that's the thing, right? Riley Rossmo's work is such a hot topic. Hot topic. Hot. Get it? Um, Especially because like you look at what he was doing on Tim Drake Robin a few years back, and I really did not like it, to be honest with you. But then you look at his work on the Sandman, and it's incredible, right? Look at this cover, and it's incredible, and it just goes to show that matching up the artist to what book they're doing is essential, because that's awesome. I want to see, man. I got to see if Riley Rossmo's doing any other work coming up. Superman, Father of Tomorrow. That's just a variant cover. Cover or, oh, I guess we're, all right, well, it's not exactly working the way I want it to. That's okay. Jorge Corona next level variant. Awesome. Fantastic cover. There's no way that's actually $4.99 though. Oh no, it is because this is $3.99. I might get that Corona cover because why not? Okay, so yeah, I mean the Fury of Firestorm. It feels to me like it's very rare that Jeff Lemire misses at all. So I'd say that's a safe bet for picking up. I mean, I've got it. I've got it on my pull list. The solicit looked too good, and then the preview looked even better. So count me in. All right, we got some final order cutoff books to go through a little quickly. Daredevil, final number 2 final order cutoff is tonight. So grab number 1 and get your order in for number 2. Zatanna number 1. I don't think I'm going to be pulling this. I recognize the talent of Jamal Campbell as an artist. I don't love the coloring that he does in his work. Um, and it's all right. We have Swamp Thing 1989 number 1. This was that canceled Rick Veitch run. Final order cutoff for that's tonight. To be honest, I'll probably look for the trade on that one. Muppets Noir number 3. If for any other reason, get it because Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem are on the cover. Final order cutoff on that is tonight. Although, based on the fact that number 2 has been so delayed, I wouldn't be surprised if you get more of an opportunity to order that one. Hidden Spring. So this one looks pretty good. Final order cutoffs tonight. So I gotta make a choice. I might end up having to do the trade on this one as well, just for budget purposes. But while on a retirement community field trip, a group of aging ex-Hollywood stars encounter a baby kaiju on the run from military agents. Bonding quickly with the creature, the cantankerous cadre of former celebrities have to somehow get the kaiju to safety before it causes the end of the world. It sounds great. It sounds hilarious. To be a trade weight as well. We've got Pooh Bear Adventures. That one's got final order cutoff tonight. It's interesting. Again, this is very clearly the public domain A.A. Milne characters, because we've got Pooh wearing jeans but no shirt instead of wearing a red shirt. But anyone that has kids out there might be interested in that. So a couple that I'm going to be pulling here. Final order cutoff next week for Batman number 9. I do wonder if we have Batman number 9 coming out May 6th, right? And then we have, where is it here? Barbara Gordon Breakout. Okay, right there. Leaping from the pages of May's Batman number 9 to the next level. I was just about to ask, is the Barbara Gordon Breakout book going to directly relate to Batman number 9? And it looks like it will. So this is your notice. Next week, make sure you add Batman number 9 to your pull list. And then before the 20th, add Barbara Gordon Breakout to your pull list. What else do we... Yeah. Here. Well, there's got to be some kind of catch in there, but Captain America's been good, so I can't argue with that. If Destruction Be Our Lot. So this is a Matthew Rosenberg, believe it's creator owned. I would imagine creator owned, given that it's Image. I thought that the cover of this looked really good, and the solicit looked pretty good too. Humanity is extinct, and all that remains are the robots who once helped us. The robots who once helped us are happier now, doing their work without human interference, but not Abe. He believes there must be something more out there. So it's a sci-fi, it's image. I mean, I really like the looks of it, the design. Hassan Otsmane Elhau coloring, Francesco Segala on colors are both really, really solid choices. Um, it's probably going to be pretty great if we're being honest. So, let's see. Oh, final order cutoff on DC Sonic the Hedgehog, the Metal Legion #1. So, final order cutoff is next week. Not that there was ever any doubt that I would be pulling this. Uh, um, but to that great A cover, that we also have the Minho Kim variant that shows Cream and Cheese as Supergirl and Crypto, Eggman as Lex Luthor, Rouge as Catwoman, Big the Cat as Aquaman, Blaze as Starfire, and then all of the returning characters from the first crossover. A fantastic cover. Um, I'm beyond hyped. I just want more and more of this crossover, um, and I want there to be a video game. I think it would be cool if we got some DC heroes in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, even if that's the extent of our copying, or even if it's just like skins where we can get Sonic in a Flash costume or Shadow in a Batman costume, whatever. I'll take anything, right? Now this one I wanted to look at. Ah, so there we go. They with a different cover, and I feel like they fool people into buying this every year. And like, just get the free comic book day issue. Like, you don't need this cover. Like, you don't need it. That's why it's on this list, just to draw attention to that, because I don't like the idea of them selling a free comic book day issue. Holy smokes, there's a lot of books left. All right, I'm running over, so we got to rapid fire through these. Okay. Doom Quest, written by Ryan North. It looks like an interesting story. Final order cutoff on this is next week. It's about Doom being jealous of Reed Richards, so it's pretty quintessential Doom. Um, I probably going to trade weight that one, to be honest. But Tales of the Green Lantern Corps, Guy Gardner. Getting a Guy Gardner book is never a wrong choice. Jerry Dugan on writing duties there. I generally like a lot of his work, so that works well. And it says a tale of the best and worst Lantern in the Corps. He's just the best. Final order cutoff is next week. So after that, we have the Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon tie-ins. Not the most exciting. But it is interesting that it's related to Red Hulk. It says Red Hulk's devastating tear across the globe must be stopped. So we've got all these groups teaming up. Final order cutoff is the 20th, so that's 2 weeks from now. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Chip Zdarsky's writing the event, so that also helps a lot. But we'll see how that goes. Absolute Batman #20. So The loss of blank. Oh, after the loss of blank, I wonder who that is. But robins enter the scene ready to hunt, and more than one secret will be revealed in this seminal issue. We got absolute robin coming in. I just don't know. I don't know what to expect. First of all, I saw this comment down here, and I can't agree more. Psych. If it is Dick, I love the idea of Robin being a rival to Batman, but deep in my heart, I want to open 20 and see someone ripping the tires off that tank of a Batmobile. A reference to Jason Todd. In the tires off the Batmobile. That would be pretty great. All right. And our last couple, we talked about Barbara Gordon breakout. The idea of Barbara Gordon being arrested and trying to break out of prison is such an awesome idea for a book. There's almost zero chance that this is going to be anything other than incredible. But we've got Space Ghost number 11, right? That's one that I've got on my pull list. Always good to pick up some Space Ghost. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures number 37. Panda Khan, which I don't know who that is, right? But someone who's a bigger fan of this kind of stuff than me may be able to say who Panda Khan is, but it looks great. Looks like a fun time. And finally, a reboot on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which honestly is interesting because I didn't think that Power Rangers Prime had been going for that long, especially considering that the last Power Are we back? We're back. Looks like a pretty classic view on the Power Rangers. These look like pretty classic costumes. Yeah. We'll see. So that is the extent of what I have on my list for the evening. Thank you very much for watching, for listening. Please like the video. Make sure you subscribe. If you're watching the replay of this, I know a lot of people prefer to watch the replay. It's tough to watch a stream late at night, but if you find yourself able to watch in the evening, I'd love to be able to chat over the comments a little bit. I'll show your comment up on the screen, and we can discuss whatever books you want to talk about. So thanks everyone for watching, and have a great evening. Good night.